My name is Mila Parker. I'm 32 years old, and 3 weeks ago, I did something I never thought I'd do. I handed my parents an envelope at Thanksgiving dinner in front of 50 family members. Inside wasn't a check. It was a police report. For 8 years, I sent my parents $3,000 every single month because I believed they were one missed payment away from losing everything. I lived in a 300 square foot studio, worked 2 side jobs, and ate ramen 4 nights a week so they could keep the lights on. Then my sister accidentally sent me a photo from Mom's birthday dinner at a $500 per plate restaurant. In the background, barely visible, was a receipt. I zoomed in. The credit card name wasn't theirs. It was mine. A card I never opened. $437,000 in fraudulent charges over 8 years. Before I walk you through what happened next, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story resonates with you. And drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is there. I'd love to know I'm not alone in this. Now, let me take you back to 8 years ago, the day I got the first phone call that would change everything. It was a Tuesday evening in April when my phone rang. I'd just gotten promoted to financial analyst, $62,000 a year, benefits, my own cubicle. I was 24 and felt like I'd made it. Mila, honey? Mom's voice was strained. I hate to burden you with this. My stomach dropped. What's wrong? Your father's company is downsizing. They're letting him go. We're 3 months behind on the mortgage. She paused. I heard her breath catch. We might lose the house. The words hit like ice water. Why didn't you tell me sooner? We didn't want to worry you. You just started your career and… Her voice broke. I don't know what to do. I was already opening my laptop, pulling up my bank account. How much do you need? Oh, sweetheart, I can't ask you to. Mom, how much? 2,000 would help with the mortgage, but the utilities are overdue and Dad's medication. She trailed off, letting the silence do the work. I can do 3,000, I said. This month and next, until Dad finds something new. Mila, you're such a blessing. Relief flooded her voice. Just until things stabilize. I transferred the money that night. Felt good about it, actually. This was what family did. You showed up when people needed you. Growing up, I'd watch Sienna get the attention. She was charming, funny, the one everyone wanted at parties. I was the responsible one, the one who studied hard, got scholarships, made practical choices. My parents praised Sienna for her personality. They praised me for being helpful. Being helpful became my worth. So when Mom called the next month with a new emergency, roof repair, urgent, contractor needed deposit, I sent another 3,000, and the month after that, and the one after that. Things never stabilized. Somehow, every month brought a fresh crisis: water heater, car transmission, medical tests, emergency dental work. But I told myself, this is temporary. Family takes care of family. They'd do the same for me, wouldn't they? 8 years is 2,920 days. That's 2,920 decisions to put someone else first. My studio apartment was 300 square feet in a building where the air conditioning worked 3 months a year. The furniture came from Craigslist and curbsides. My bed was a futon that never quite unfolded right. I told myself it was minimalist living, very trendy. Coworkers would ask me to lunch. I'd decline. Meal prepped, I'd say, holding up my Tupperware of, let's be honest, usually rice and canned beans. Ramen at night, oatmeal for breakfast, peanut butter sandwiches when I was feeling fancy. Sarah from accounting got promoted to senior analyst 2 years ago. That was the position I'd turned down because it required relocating to Portland. I can't move, I'd told my boss. Family situation. He'd nodded, understanding. He didn't understand. Every vacation day sat unused in my account. 45 days accumulated, expired, vanished. What if there's an emergency? I'd reason. There was always an emergency. At my yearly physical, the one I delayed 6 months because the copay was $150 I didn't have, my doctor asked if I was eating enough. I laughed it off. Just being careful with money. She didn't laugh back. James, my coworker in forensic accounting, mentioned once that he'd seen my parents at Multnomah. That's the upscale restaurant downtown, the one with white tablecloths and a wine list thicker than a phone book. Must have been a special occasion, I said. They deserve to celebrate after everything they've been through. He'd given me an odd look, but didn't push. I was so focused on keeping them afloat, I never questioned why they never seemed to recover, why the emergencies never ended. Why, after 8 years and $288,000, things weren't better. My coworkers were buying houses, getting engaged, taking trips to Europe, building lives. I was building my parents' lives. I just didn't know whose credit I was building them on. My 32nd birthday fell on a Wednesday. I worked until 7, came home to my studio, and sat on my futon with my laptop open to my banking app. $3,000. Transfer to mom and dad. Confirm. Done. I opened Facebook. Mistake. Sarah had posted photos from her new condo. 2 bedrooms, balcony, that trendy exposed brick everyone wants. Jenny from college was engaged. The ring could have doubled as a skating rink. Marcus, who started the same week as me, had just gotten back from Japan. 17 photos of temples and sushi, and him smiling in front of Mount Fuji. My last vacation was... I couldn't remember. My last date was 14 months ago. Guy seemed nice until the check came, and I asked to split a $40 total. He'd paid, but his texts stopped after that. My dating app sat unopened for months. What was I supposed to put in my profile? 32-year-old financial analyst seeking someone who enjoys Netflix on a 13-inch laptop and deep conversations about why generic cereal is underrated. My retirement account balance, $8,300. According to every financial planning article I'd ever read, it should have been closer to $80,000 by now. I wrote those articles for clients. I just couldn't seem to follow my own advice. My phone buzzed. Mom. Honey, I'm so sorry to ask, but Dad needs emergency dental work. Root canal. $4,000 and they want payment up front. I checked my savings. $347. I don't have $4,000 right now, I said. Oh. Pause. I understand. We'll figure something out. Maybe we can put it on a credit card. Her voice got smaller. Even though we're maxed out already. The guilt hit like a fist. I can pick up extra shifts at the store, I said. I'd been doing weekend retail for 6 months now. Give me 2 weeks. You're such a good daughter, Mila. I don't know what we'd do without you. I stared at my reflection in the black laptop screen after she hung up. 32 years old, couldn't afford a birthday cake, but at least my parents wouldn't be homeless, right? The video call notification popped up Sunday morning. Sienna, with that I have news energy that made my stomach tense. Mila, oh my God, you have to see this. She thrust her left hand at the camera. Diamond, massive, probably 3 carats. Wow, I managed. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Right? Trevor proposed at Crater Lake. There was a photographer hiding in the trees and everything. She was bouncing. 28 years old and bouncing. We're thinking next June. The venue we want is at the Four Seasons. The Four Seasons. I did quick math. 50,000? 75? That's amazing. How are you? I tried to sound casual. How are you affording the Four Seasons? Oh, Mom and Dad are covering most of it. Wedding gift, you know. She waved it away like it was nothing. They've been saving in some special fund for years. Mom said they can't touch it except for this. My brain stuttered. Saving? Special fund? That's generous of them, I said slowly. Totally. Plus, I'm taking a few months off work to plan. Wedding planning is basically a full-time job. She laughed. Mom said I should stay with them, save on rent. Let me get this straight. My parents were broke. Behind on everything. Couldn't afford Dad's dental work. But they had a wedding fund? And Sienna, 28, college dropout Sienna, Was living with them rent-free while planning? You're still working, right? I asked. Oh, I quit last month. Trevor makes enough for both of us once we're married, so… She shrugged. Why stress? The math wasn't mathing. The logic wasn't logicking. Sounds perfect, I said. You're coming, right? I know money's tight for you. She actually said this, actually had the audacity, but you can't miss your only sister's wedding. Wouldn't miss it. After we hung up, I sat in my dark studio for an hour. Outside, I could hear neighbors laughing, music playing, life happening. I pulled out my calculator and did math I'd been avoiding. $288,000 over 8 years. Where did it all go? Something felt wrong. But I pushed it down. I was good at pushing things down. Friday evening. I was at my desk, finishing a client portfolio analysis. The office was quiet, just me and the hum of fluorescent lights. My phone buzzed. Family group chat. Photo from Sienna. The image loaded. Mom, Dad, Sienna at a restaurant. Not just any restaurant. I recognized the interior immediately. Oriole, the Michelin-starred place downtown where reservations book 3 months out and entrees start at $75. Caption: Mom's 60th at Oriole, best meal of my life. Champagne glasses, gold-rimmed plates, what looked like a 30-year scotch in Dad's hand. Everyone dressed like they'd stepped out of a catalog. I zoomed in, studied the table, the details, and then I saw it. Background slightly out of focus. A receipt folder on the table edge. Black leather cracked open. Inside, the white slip of paper. I zoomed more. Enhanced. The camera phone quality wasn't great, but… There, the credit card. Just the top portion visible. The name. Mile Parker. My heart stopped. I zoomed again. Fingers shaking now. Enhanced until pixels blurred. Mila J. Parker. Not Richard. Not Linda. My name. On their credit card, at their dinner. That I never authorized, never opened, never knew existed. I couldn't breathe. Opened my credit monitoring app, the one I recommended to every client, the one I checked obsessively because I'd seen too many fraud cases. Alert. New activity. Oriole Restaurant. Portland OR. $1,847.32. I scrolled back. More alerts I'd somehow missed or dismissed. Nordstrom. $2,341.89. Last week. Serenity Spa. $890. 10 days ago. Premier Wine Merchants. $654.223. 2 weeks ago. Account name. Discover card ending in 4472. Cardholder. Mila J. Parker. Credit limit, $45,000. Current balance, $43,127.89. I'd never opened a Discover card, never applied, never authorized. I pulled up my full credit report. Professional access, instant. And there it was. Not one card, 4. Discover, $43,127. Visa, $67,234. MasterCard, $38,091. American Express, $89,102. Plus a personal loan I'd never signed for, $89,000. Total, $437,554. $437,554 of debt I didn't create. The office tilted. I gripped the desk. James walked past, stopped. Mila, you okay? You look like you saw a ghost. I couldn't speak, just stared at the screen. That's my name, I finally whispered. That's my credit card, and I never opened it. I stayed at the office until 2 in the morning. James brought coffee, sat with me while I pulled every document. The first Discover card, opened 6 years ago. Applications required signature, social security number, address. I requested copies from the bank. The signature looked like mine, but I'd never signed it. The Visa, 7 years ago. Same story. MasterCard, 4 years. American Express, 5 years. Each one showed payment history. Minimum payments made monthly. On time. Keeping the accounts in good standing. Paid from where? I cross-referenced with my bank transfers. There. Every month. $3,000 went to my parents' account. And from that account, minimum payments flowed back out to these fraudulent cards. They were using my money to pay the minimums on debt they'd created in my name. Circular fraud, self-sustaining, brilliant in the most horrifying way. This is over 7 years, James said, scanning the timeline. This isn't accident, this is systematic. The charges told a story. Restaurants I couldn't afford, Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, Delta first-class tickets to Hawaii, Four Seasons Resort, Tiffany jewelry, premium wine subscriptions, while I ate ramen, while I worked weekends, while I turned down promotions and relationships and every single chance at a life. My credit score, 581, tanked by utilization rates above 90% on all cards. Oh God, I breathed. I applied for an apartment last year, a better one. They rejected me for bad credit. I thought it was a mistake. James pointed to another line. Myla, look at this inquiry. Auto loan application, my name, dealership in Beaverton, denied for credit score. I didn't apply for a car loan. Someone did, using your information. He met my eyes. Your parents are driving a 2023 Lexus, right? I've seen it in the parking lot. The nausea hit in waves. I pulled out my phone, texted Sienna. We need to talk about Mom's birthday dinner. 3 minutes passed. The typing indicator appeared, stopped, appeared again. Finally, what about it? I sent the photo, zoomed in on the receipt, on my name. The credit card in the photo, my name was on it. Typing, stopping, more typing. Call you tomorrow. She knew, the way she hesitated, the way she avoided, she knew. Saturday morning. I dialed before I could change my mind. Hi, honey. Mom's voice, bright, fake bright. How's your weekend? I need you to explain the credit cards in my name. Silence. Long enough that I checked if the call had dropped. What credit cards? All 4 of them. And the loan, $437,000. Myla, I don't know what you're talking about. My jaw clenched. Mom, I have the statements. Oriole, your birthday. The card had my name on it. The silence stretched. Then, oh, that. Yes, that. Myla, we had to. We were desperate. Her voice shifted, tears entering. Your father lost his job years ago. I had medical bills. We were going to lose everything. You have a good income. We thought you wouldn't mind helping family. I was helping. $3,000 every single month. That covered basics, her voice rose. This was for necessities. Necessities? A $500 per plate restaurant? We needed to maintain appearances for Sienna's sake, for her wedding. I heard it. The justification, the entitlement, the complete lack of remorse. So you committed identity theft. Don't you dare use that language with me. We're your parents. You owe us. Now the anger came through. We raised you, fed you, paid for your education. I had a full scholarship. And this is how you repay us? Accusing us of crimes? You're being dramatic. Dad's voice in the background. Linda, did Sienna know? Pause. Did Sienna know? I repeated, voice harder. She might have. We needed her to use the card sometimes when we. I hung up, sat on my futon, stared at the wall. 3 hours passed. My phone buzzed. Mom, Dad, Sienna. I ignored them all. Finally, I called James. I need help, I said. Professional help. Can you? I'll be there in 20 minutes. Bring everything. I want to pause here for a moment. I know some of you watching this have dealt with financial manipulation from family. Maybe you felt that same guilt, that voice saying, "But they're family, you should just let it go." The guilt is real. The confusion is real. If you've ever felt torn between protecting yourself and being the good daughter or good son, drop a comment. Your stories matter. And if this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. We're in this together. Now back to what happened next. James showed up with his laptop and a legal pad. We spread everything across my tiny kitchen table, which was really a folding card table from Target. "Walk me through the timeline," he said. "Pen ready." I did. Every phone call, every emergency, every transfer, the discovery, the confrontation. He took notes, didn't interrupt. When I finished, he looked up. "Mila, this isn't family drama. This is felony fraud." The word felt too big, too serious. "They're my parents. Who stole almost $750,000 from you?" He opened his laptop, started a spreadsheet. "Let's document everything." 3 hours. We built an evidence file. Column 1, date of my transfer to them. Column 2, amount. Column 3, their emergency claim. Column 4, fraudulent charges made within 1 week of my transfer. Column 5, evidence. The pattern was undeniable. Every time I sent money, charges appeared. Restaurant, shopping, travel, like clockwork. James highlighted the minimum payment amounts. "See this? They're using your $3,000 to cover minimums on your fraudulent debt. It's circular, self-funding fraud." That's... I couldn't finish. Sophisticated, calculated, premeditated. He looked at me. This wasn't desperation. This was a system. "What about Sienna?" He pulled up another tab. "Card ending in 4472, user charges by merchant." He filtered. 47 transactions made in person with physical card, all at stores Sienna mentioned on social media, Sephora, Anthropology, that resort in Maui she posted about. She spent $38,000 on my credit card. And she knew. Every time she swiped, she saw your name on that card. The betrayal went deeper than money. My whole family, conspiring, using me. "You need to file a police report," James said gently. "They're my family. They destroyed your credit, your future, your life." He paused. "What would you tell a client in this situation?" I met his eyes, knew the answer. "File charges immediately." The next 2 weeks, I became someone I didn't recognize. Cold, methodical, thorough. I requested full credit reports from all 3 bureaus. Documented every fraudulent account, every forged signature, every unauthorized inquiry. I called each credit card company. "I did not authorize this account. I'm filing fraud claims." Started the investigations. Froze new activity. I combed through my email, found text messages I'd saved, every single request for money, every guilt trip, every emergency. Mom called Tuesday. "Honey, we have an emergency. Dad needs dental work, $4,000. I put her on speaker, hit record. "Mom, about those credit cards in my name." "Oh, sweetie, don't worry about those. We're handling it." "By handling it, you mean using my money to pay minimums on my fraudulent debt?" Nervous laugh. "It's not fraud when it's family, Mila. Don't be dramatic." There. Admission on recording. In her own words, I compiled 40 pages, timeline, bank transfers, credit statements, photos of forged signatures compared to my real signature, recorded phone call, Sienna's social media posts geo-tagged at places charged to my cards, cross-references, dates, amounts, patterns. James reviewed everything. "This is airtight. Any DA would take this case." "What happens if I file?" "Criminal charges. Identity theft is federal, but also state charges. Wire fraud, credit fraud, forgery. We're looking at multiple felonies." "Prison?" 3 to 5 years if convicted. Plus restitution. They'd have to pay you back." I stared at the document. 40 pages that would destroy my family. Or 40 pages that would save my life. I need one more thing, I said. What? Thanksgiving is in 3 weeks. They're hosting. 50+ people. James's eyes widened. You're going to? They've humiliated me privately for years, called me selfish, ungrateful, difficult. I met his gaze. Time everyone knew the truth. I printed 2 copies, one for police, one for Thanksgiving. The envelope was white, plain, official-looking, perfect. I texted Sienna. Coffee tomorrow? We need to talk. Tuesday. Starbucks. She arrived 20 minutes late, carrying a Gucci bag, $2,400 retail. I'd looked it up once for a client's anniversary gift I couldn't afford. So, she said, not quite meeting my eyes. What's up? When did you find out about the cards? She stirred her latte. $12 latte. I had drip coffee, $2. What do you mean? Sienna, I have your charge history. 47 transactions. When did you know they were in my name? Long pause. Mom told me 3 years ago? Maybe 4? And you didn't think to tell me? Why? She shrugged. You were already sending them money. What difference did it make? I stared. Actually stared. I'm in $400,000 of debt. Look, you make good money. She waved it away. You don't have kids, no husband. What else were you spending it on? At least this way the family benefits. The casualness, the complete absence of guilt. I live in a studio apartment. I eat ramen. I work 2 jobs. That's your choice. Mom said they'd pay it off eventually. With what money, Sienna? She looked uncomfortable. I don't know. That's between you and them. You spent $38,000 on my credit card. Mom said it was fine. She said you wouldn't mind. Her voice rose. I didn't do anything wrong. Did you ever think to ask me? You're always so uptight about money. Mom said not to bother you. I felt something break inside. Clean. Final. You know what? She stood up. This is exactly why you don't have friends. You're so difficult, so rigid. Maybe if you learned to be generous like Mom and Dad taught us, you wouldn't be so alone. She left. I sat there for an hour, watched people come and go, normal people with normal problems. Then I called Detective Morrison. I'm ready, I said. I want to file a report. Financial Crimes Unit, Friday morning. The building smelled like burnt coffee and institutional cleaning products. Detective Sarah Morrison was 44, gray streaking her dark hair, eyes that had seen too much. She gestured to the chair across from her desk. Mr. James Chen spoke highly of you, she said, opening my case file. Let's see what we have. I handed her the folder. She flipped through. 1 page, 2, 10, 20. This is thorough. She looked up. You do this professionally? Financial analyst. Well, you'd make a good investigator, she kept reading. Identity theft, wire fraud, credit card fraud across multiple accounts. Your parents forged your signature on applications? I showed her the comparison documents, my real signature versus the forged ones. And your sister used the cards knowingly? 47 times, $38,000. She admitted she knew whose name was on them. Morrison leaned back. Usually in family fraud cases, victims don't want to press charges. Are you sure? I'm sure. This becomes public record. There'll be arraignment, court dates, your family will face felony charges, multiple counts. I understand. Your parents could see 3 to 5 years in prison if convicted, plus full restitution. She studied me. This will change everything. They already changed everything. They destroyed my credit, my savings, 8 years of my life. My voice stayed steady. I'm just making it official. She nodded, respect in her eyes. All right, I'll start the warrant process. This level of fraud, the DA will prosecute. Probably looking at 3 to 5 years if convicted, plus restitution order for full amount. What's the timeline? Investigation takes a few weeks. Warrant maybe a month. She paused. Why? Thanksgiving is in 12 days. They're hosting 50 people. Understanding dawned on her face. And you want copies of the report, official documents, case number. She actually smiled. Small, grim. You're going to tell them. Everyone's going to know. Morrison printed the documents, sealed them in an envelope. White, official, final. Here, case number 2024 FC 8847. Charges against Linda Marie Parker, Richard James Parker, and Sienna Nicole Parker. Official seal. I took the envelope, felt its weight. Most people in your situation want to hide this, Morrison said. They hid it for 8 years. I'm done hiding. Tuesday before Thanksgiving. My phone buzzed. Mom. Mila, you're still coming Thursday, right? 2 p.m. Bring dessert if you can. Aunt Carol will be there. Uncle Mike. Everyone. Translation. Behave. Don't embarrass us. Keep up appearances. I typed, deleted, typed again. I'll be there. I'll bring something special. Mom. Wonderful. Wear something nice. We're taking a family photo this year. Family photo. The audacity made me laugh. Dark, bitter sound. James found me at my desk Wednesday. You really doing this? They've spent 8 years making me feel small, selfish, ungrateful. I looked up. Time everyone sees who I really am. And who's that? Someone who keeps receipts. The plan solidified in my mind, crystal clear, undeniable. Arrive on time, be polite, blend in. Wait until after dinner, during dessert, when everyone was gathered and comfortable. When Mom would inevitably make some comment about my lack of contribution or Sienna's wedding costs. Then I'd stand up, pull out the envelope. Let truth unfold in front of everyone who'd ever heard their lies about me. I went shopping, bought one outfit, first new clothes in 2 years. Nothing expensive, $40 at Target, but clean, professional, put together. Printed a second set of documents, highlighted the key sections, case number, charges, evidence summary. Wednesday night, I couldn't sleep. Rehearsed in my mind. Stay calm, stay professional. Facts only, no emotion. That's how you win. At 3 a.m., I got up, made coffee, reviewed everything one more time. Last Thanksgiving flashed back. Mom had announced to the whole table, Mila couldn't contribute to dinner costs this year. Times are tough for her. I had offered. She'd said no need, then publicly humiliated me. This Thanksgiving would be different. I packed the envelope in my purse, put the backup folder in my car. Thursday morning, I looked in the mirror. Same face, different person. Let's go, I told my reflection. 2 o'clock. I parked outside their house. 4-bedroom colonial, well-maintained, fresh paint, landscaped yard. The house they'd told me they were losing for 8 straight years. Deep breath, envelope in purse, backup documents in trunk. Inside, chaos. 50+ people. Cousins I hadn't seen in years. Aunts, uncles, extended family from 3 states. Noise, warmth. The smell of turkey and wine and pumpkin pie. Mila's here, Mom's voice carried across the room. Performative, loud. My daughter, the financial analyst. Subtext clear. She makes good money. Look at her success. Not like us poor struggling folks. Hugs, greetings. Aunt Carol squeezed my hand. How are you, honey? Good, really good, actually. Sienna appeared at my elbow, whispered, hostile. You better not start anything. I smiled. Wouldn't dream of it. Dad approached, eyes nervous. Mila, good to see you. Can we talk later? Later sounds perfect. The dining room was magazine perfect. long table, china plates, crystal glasses, centerpiece that probably cost $200. I observed everything, made mental notes, mom's jewelry, diamond earrings, new, sparkled under the chandelier light, Sienna's engagement ring, catching light with every gesture, dad's watch, Rolex Submariner, $12,000 retail, minimum, wine bottles lining the sideboard, labels I recognized, $80 and up, fresh flower arrangements, multiple, professional, the lifestyle they'd built, with my money, on my credit. Uncle Mike, retired attorney, loud and jovial. Richard, Linda, you two really outdid yourselves. This spread must have cost a fortune. Dad's modest laugh. We do what we can, family's worth it. I sipped water, counted to 10, then 20. Dinner felt endless. Turkey, ham, 7 side dishes, people laughing, talking, normal Thanksgiving, except nothing was normal. I barely ate, watched, waited. Dessert was being served. Pumpkin pie, apple crisp, coffee brewing. It was almost time. Mom stood, tapped her wineglass with a spoon. Crystal chimed. The room quieted. Before we finish, I want to say something. She smiled, that practiced smile. I'm so grateful we could all be together. Family is everything. We've been through tough times, but we support each other. She looked directly at me, pointed, deliberate. Some of us give more than others. Some understand what sacrifice means. Another look. Your father and I have always taught our girls to be generous, to put family first. Sienna smirked into her coffee cup. Unfortunately, not everyone learned that lesson. Mom's voice took on an edge. Mila, honey, we needed to talk about helping with Sienna's wedding costs. We're stretched thin and… I stood up. The room froze. 50 sets of eyes turned toward me. Actually, Mom, I think we should talk about finances. Right here, right now. Mom's face paled. Mila, this isn't the time. No, I think it's exactly the time. My voice stayed calm, level. You just said families should be generous, support each other. I've done that for 8 years. I pulled out the envelope. Dad. Mila, sit down. I ignored him, addressed the room. I've sent my parents $3,000 every single month for 8 years. That's $288,000 total, because they told me they were struggling, about to lose the house, couldn't pay bills. Relatives shifted, uncomfortable, confused. We were struggling, Mom started. You had birthday dinner at Oriole 2 weeks ago, $500 per plate. I held up my phone, showed the photo. Do you know how I know? Silence. Because my sister accidentally sent me this photo, and in the background there's a receipt, with a credit card. Want to guess whose name was on that card? I let the question hang. Mine. A card I never opened, never authorized, never even knew existed. Gasps rippled through the room. Mom's face was white. Mila, you're taking this out of… Everyone here thinks I'm the selfish one, the ungrateful daughter who doesn't help her family. I looked around, made eye contact. Today, you're all going to learn what really happened. Okay, I need to pause again. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to know what you think. Do you think I was right to do this publicly? Or should I have kept it private? Drop a comment. Public, if you think family fraud should be exposed, or private, if I should have handled it quietly. I genuinely want to know your thoughts. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is about to get intense. You don't want to miss what comes next. All right, let me continue. I held my phone up, turned it so the whole table could see. This photo, Mom's birthday, Oriole. I zoomed in on the receipt area. See this? Passed my phone to Aunt Carol. She squinted. Passed it to Uncle Mike. It made its way around the table. Relatives leaning in, zooming, gasping. The credit card name, I said. What does it say? Uncle Mike looked up. It says, Mila Parker? Correct, my name, My credit card. I paused. That I never opened, never authorized, never used. The room erupted in murmurs. Mila, you're taking this out of context, Mom's voice cracked. Am I? Let me give you context. I pulled the printed credit card statements from the envelope, held them up. 4 credit cards in my name, total balance, $437,000. I walked around the table, placed statements in front of relatives. Opened between 7 and 4 years ago. Aunt Carol picked one up, read. Her eyes widened. These charges. Cousin David scanned the list. Ruth's Chris, Tiffany and Comey, Delta Airlines First Class, Nordstrom, Williams Sonoma. All while telling me they couldn't afford the mortgage. I pointed to Dad. Dad, didn't you tell me you lost your job 5 years ago? Dad said nothing, just stared at his plate. I pulled employment records. You didn't lose your job. You retired, voluntarily, with a full pension. Uncle Mike's head snapped toward Dad. You have a pension? Richard? Aunt Carol's voice. Linda, you told me last year you couldn't afford Christmas gifts. Mom's hands shook. We can explain. Please do. I stayed standing, calm. Explain to everyone how you've been living off my identity for 8 years. Cousin Jenny spoke up, voice small. Mila, wait. Don't you live in that tiny studio, the one I visited? You didn't even have air conditioning. 300 square feet, $800 a month, that's all I could afford. But why? You make good money. I let the questions sit, let everyone process. Because, I said slowly, I was funding them. I pulled out the spreadsheet, James's and my work. 40 pages condensed into irrefutable truth. $3,000 per month, 96 months. Total, $288,000. I placed it on the table, bank statements clipped behind, every transfer highlighted. Plus fraudulent credit cards, $437,000. Combined total, $725,000. Uncle Mike's coffee cup clattered to the table. $700,000? While I lived on ramen, worked 2 side jobs, turned down promotions because I couldn't relocate, my family needed me. Had $347 in savings on my 32nd birthday. I opened my phone, showed the photo of my studio. This is where I live, 300 square feet. Passed my phone around again, watched faces change. Shock, disbelief, anger. Meanwhile, I pulled up photos from Mom's Facebook before she deleted it. Their house, 4 bedrooms, kitchen renovation last year, $60,000, charged to my credit card. Aunt Carol turned to Linda. You remodeled your kitchen? And the minimum payments on these cards? I retrieved the spreadsheet. Paid from my $3,000 monthly transfers. They used my money to cover the minimums on debt they created in my name. That's... Aunt Carol couldn't finish. Illegal. It's called identity theft, wire fraud, credit card fraud. I pulled out the recorded phone call transcript. This is from 2 weeks ago. Mom admitting on recorded line. I read aloud. It's not fraud when it's family. The transcript passed around. Relatives reading, rereading. Sienna stood. Okay, everyone needs to calm down. I turned to her. 47 transactions, $38,000. You knew they were my cards. I didn't know the full... You swiped cards with my name on them 47 times. You knew. Her face went red, then white. You all want to know why I don't contribute more? I looked around the table. Because I've already contributed $725,000 to criminals. The word landed like a bomb. Criminals. Not parents. Not family. Criminals. I held up the white envelope. The one they'd been watching. Wondering about. Last week, I went to the police. Financial Crimes Unit. Complete silence. Even the kids stopped talking. I filed a formal report. This envelope contains copies of case number 2024 FC 8847. I opened it, removed the documents, official seal visible. Official charges against Linda Marie Parker, Richard James Parker, and Sienna Nicole Parker. Mom's sob cut through the silence. You called the police on your own parents? I met her eyes, steady, calm. You committed felonies against your own daughter. Mila, please, we can work this out. Dad stood, desperate. I tried to work it out. You called me selfish, ungrateful, difficult. I handed the top document to Uncle Mike. Count 1, identity theft felony. Count 2, wire fraud felony. Count 3, credit card fraud felony. Count 4, forgery felony. He scanned it. His face went pale. These are real. Official seal. Detective Sarah Morrison's signature. Warrants are being processed. Arraignment likely within 30 days. I kept my voice level. Professional. Detective Morrison estimates 3 to 5 years prison time if convicted, plus full restitution of $725,000. The room erupted, relatives talking over each other, questions, accusations, shock. Sienna screamed, "You're sending Mom and Dad to prison?" "No, they sent themselves to prison when they stole my identity." I turned to her. "You're facing charges too, accessory to fraud." "I didn't do anything." I held up her charge history. Gucci bag, $2,400. Resort vacation, $8,700. Spa weekend, $3,200. All on my card. Your signature. You're complicit. This is insane. She grabbed her purse. Uncle Mike blocked the door. "You're facing criminal charges, Sienna. Leaving won't help." I looked at my parents, really looked at them. "You wanted to maintain appearances in front of family? Congratulations. Now everyone knows exactly who you are." The room exploded. Aunt Carol to Linda. "I lent you $5,000 last year. You said it was a medical emergency." Uncle Mike to Richard. "You asked me to co-sign a loan. Thank God I didn't." Cousin David. "We helped you move. You paid movers $3,000. Was that Mila's card too?" Mom sobbed. Loud. Performative. "This is all a misunderstanding." "There's no misunderstanding." Uncle Mike held up the police report. "This is official, signed by a detective, case number, court dates pending." People started gathering their things, coats, purses, kids. Some stopped to hug me. "I'm so sorry." "We had no idea. You're incredibly brave." Others left silently, didn't know whose side to take, didn't want to be involved. Aunt Carol grabbed my hands. "Honey, why didn't you tell us?" "I thought I was helping family. I didn't realize I was funding criminals." She hugged me, hard. "You're still our family." "They're not." Cousin Jenny was crying. "Mila, you gave up everything for them." "And they gave me debt and humiliation." Within 20 minutes, half the house was empty. Mom stood in the center of the chaos, mascara running. "Everyone's leaving. You ruined Thanksgiving. You ruined this family." I collected my documents, slid them back into the envelope. "No, Mom, you did that 8 years ago when you forged my signature." Dad approached, voice pleading. "Mila, if you drop the charges, we'll pay you back. Monthly payments. We'll figure it out." "You had 8 years to figure it out. You chose fraud instead." I walked to the door, turned back one final time, looked at my parents, my sister, the wreckage of their lies. "Detective Morrison will be in touch. Get a lawyer, a real one, not family." I left, got in my car, sat in the driver's seat, and felt something I hadn't felt in 8 years. Light. Monday after Thanksgiving, my phone rang. Detective Morrison. "Heard Thanksgiving got interesting. Word travels fast. Your Aunt Carol called this morning. She's filing her own report. Loan fraud. $5,000 never repaid." Papers shuffled in the background. Uncle Mike sent documentation on the cosign request. We're building a stronger case. What happens next? Grand jury indictment, likely this week. Arraignment scheduled December 12th. Your parents will need counsel. They called me 47 times this weekend. Don't answer. Any communication goes through attorneys now. You've hired one? Meeting her tomorrow. Civil attorney for restitution, separate from criminal. Smart move. Pause. Mila, I should tell you, the bank froze the accounts associated with the fraudulent cards. They can't make new charges. How are they reacting? Your father tried to withdraw $50,000 from savings yesterday. Flagged for investigation. Both accounts frozen pending review. A small, dark satisfaction. And Sienna? She hired an attorney, trying to claim she didn't know the cards were fraudulent. Morrison's tone was dry. Charge history proves otherwise. What's the realistic outcome? Your parents? 3 to 5 years if convicted, plus restitution. Sienna? 18 months to 2 years, her portion of restitution. But judges really hate family fraud. Could be harsher. Will they lose Dad's pension? With criminal conviction? Automatic termination. Fraud clauses are standard. My chest tightened. Not guilt, just the finality of it. This becomes public record, Morrison continued. Employment, credit, housing. It follows them forever. Good. Most people don't mean that. Most people didn't lose 8 years and $700,000. She was quiet a moment. You did the right thing, Mila. Hard thing, but right. Doesn't feel good yet. It will, eventually. After we hung up, I sat at my desk, stared at spreadsheets that usually made sense. James appeared with coffee. You okay? Ask me in a year. Sharon Kim's office was downtown, glass, steel, the kind of place that charges by the quarter hour. She was 50-something, sharp suit, sharper eyes. Slid my documents across her desk after reading. This is meticulous work. Financial analyst. Shows. She made notes. Criminal case proceeds separately. We file civil suit for full restitution, $725,000, plus emotional distress, legal fees, credit repair costs. Total ask, $850,000. They don't have it. We'll put a lien on the house, garnish the pension, seize assets. Bank accounts are already frozen. We redirect those funds to repayment. Takes years, but you'll recover most. She walked me through the paperwork. Lien on their house. 4 bedrooms, valued at $680,000, mortgage paid off, ironically, with my money. They might try to settle, avoid trial. I'm not settling. She looked up, approved. Good. They don't deserve mercy. And your sister? Include her, joint and several liability. She'll claim she didn't understand the extent. She used cards with my name 47 times. She understood. 2 hours of documents, signatures, notarizations. My hand cramped. They'll be served tomorrow, officially. How will they react? Usually, anger, then bargaining, then panic. Sharon closed the folder. Your mother already called me, actually. What? Yesterday, wanted to explain the misunderstanding. I declined representation. She called you? Told her to get a criminal defense attorney first. Priorities. Sharon's smile was grim. I also noticed their social media went dark this morning. Facebook, Instagram, all deleted. They're scrubbing their digital presence. Too late. I screenshot everything last week. I almost laughed. Almost. Off the record, Sharon said. How are you holding up? I'm angry, hurt, betrayed. I met her eyes. But mostly, I'm just tired of being their ATM. That's the healthiest thing I've heard all day. Wednesday morning. I woke up to 63 notifications. Facebook, Instagram, text messages from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Cousin David had posted, "Sometimes family isn't who you're born to. It's who would never betray you." 147 likes. Comments asking, what happened? Aunt Carol commented, some people learn integrity, others learn fraud. Thanksgiving revealed everything. By lunch, the full story was spreading. Uncle Mike posted, not vague, for everyone asking what happened at Thanksgiving. Linda and Richard Parker committed identity theft against their daughter for 8 years. stole $725,000. Police involvement, criminal charges filed. Choose your sides carefully. Screenshot, share. Viral through our extended family network. Mom's best friend texted me. Is this true? Linda said you're lying. I sent her a copy of the police report. Case number 2024 FC 8847. Call Detective Morrison if you doubt me. No response. Dad's former coworkers reached out. We heard, is there anything we can do? The pastor from their church called. Your mother claims you're making false accusations. I filed a police report with evidence, public record, case number 2024 FC 8847, Financial Crimes Unit. Call them yourself. Long pause. I'll do that. Mila. I'm sorry. Within 48 hours, their reputation was rubble. Sienna's engagement. Her fiancé called it off. I saw the text she'd posted in a now-deleted Instagram story. Can't marry into a criminal family. What if she does this to me? Their country club. Membership revoked. Morality clause. Their church. Asked to step back until legal matters resolved. Banking. Blacklisted from opening new accounts. Mom's part-time bookkeeping job. Terminated. Every consequence dominoed into the next. James found me at my desk. You see all this? Hard to miss. How do you feel? I thought about it. I thought I'd feel guilty, but I don't. I feel free. December 12th. County Courthouse. Gray stone. Cold. I sat with Detective Morrison in the gallery. My parents entered through a side door with a public defender. Couldn't afford private counsel. Assets frozen. Sienna had her own attorney. Sat separate. Wouldn't look at them. Judge Patricia Smith presided. 60-something, stern, no nonsense. The People versus Linda Marie Parker, Richard James Parker, and Sienna Nicole Parker. The prosecutor stood. Your Honor, defendants are charged as follows. She read it all. Every count. Every felony. Linda Parker. 4 counts identity theft. 3 counts wire fraud. 2 counts credit card fraud. Richard Parker. 4 counts identity theft. 3 counts wire fraud. 2 counts credit card fraud. 1 count conspiracy. Sienna Parker. 2 counts credit card fraud. 1 count accessory after the fact. How do defendants plead? All 3. Not guilty. Expected formality. Your Honor, the People request bail of $100,000 each, flight risk due to... Defense interrupted. Your Honor, defendants' accounts are frozen. They can't post bail regardless. Judge Smith looked over her glasses. Bail set at $50,000 each. Defendants released on own recognizance with travel restrictions. Surrender passports within 24 hours. Trial date set for March 20th. Gavel. Done. In the hallway afterward, Mom tried to approach me. Detective Morrison stepped between us. Ma'am, step away. Dad called from across the hall. We're still your parents. I turned, looked at him, really looked. Parents don't steal from their children. Criminals do. And that's what you are now, officially. I walked away. Didn't look back. Morrison walked beside me. That was hard. No. The hard part was living with what they did for 8 years. This is just paperwork. Outside, cold December air hit my face. I breathed it in, deep. You okay? Morrison asked. Getting there. The consequences rolled out like dominoes. Systematic. Unavoidable. Real. Dad's pension. Under review by fund administrators. Fraud conviction triggers automatic termination. 30 years of payments. Gone. Mom's bookkeeping job. Terminated when her employer Googled her name and found the court records. Integrity clause in your contract, they'd said. Sienna. Fired from retail management. Same reason. We can't have someone facing fraud charges handling money. All 3 credit scores. Below 400. Destroyed. Housing. Sienna's landlord issued 30-day eviction notice. Criminal charges violated the lease agreement. The house, their 4-bedroom colonial, Leon filed. Potential forced sale to cover restitution. Social consequences kept accumulating. Their church asked them not to attend until legal matters are resolved. Translation: don't come back. Country club membership revoked. Morality clause. Insurance, homeowners and auto policies non-renewed. Fraud conviction makes you uninsurable. Banking, blacklisted. Can't open new accounts anywhere. And then other victims started emerging. Their neighbor filed a police report. They'd borrowed $3,000 2 years ago, never repaid. Mom's former friend reported an $8,000 loan. Medical emergency, they'd claimed. Never saw the money again. A distant cousin co-signed a car loan. My parents defaulted. Ruined her credit. Detective Morrison called me. We're up to 7 total victims. This is a larger pattern. Strengthens the case significantly. They did this to other people? Systematically, for years. You were just the biggest target. I documented everything for the civil case, not out of vindictiveness, just thoroughness. This was my job. Evidence, facts, numbers. James found me working late. You okay? They're trying to paint themselves as victims on Facebook. Let them. Courts deal in evidence, not manipulation. He was right. But watching their lives collapse, even deserved, felt strange. Not guilty, not satisfied, just final. December through January, the contact attempts escalated. Letters arrived at my apartment, 23 total. I didn't open them. Forwarded everything to Sharon. Voicemails, 147. I saved them all as evidence. Didn't listen past the first few seconds. Emails, 89. Auto-filtered to a folder labeled Evidence. The tactics evolved. Predictable stages of manipulation. Week 1. Apologetic. We're so sorry, we'll fix this. Please give us a chance. Week 2. Guilt. How can you do this to your own mother? Don't you love us? Week 3. Bargaining. Drop the charges. We'll pay you back monthly, we promise. Week 4. Anger. You're destroying this family, you've always been vindictive. Week 5. Manipulation. Your father had a health scare, he needs you. Week 6. Threats. We'll countersue for defamation, false accusations. Sharon reviewed everything. Empty threats. They have no case. Keep documenting. Mom showed up at my workplace once, just appeared in the lobby. Security escorted her out. I filed for a restraining order. The hearing was brief. Judge granted it. No contact within 500 feet, no calls, no emails, no third-party contact. They violated it immediately. Mom called from a friend's phone 3 days later. Mila, please, just listen. I hung up. Called Detective Morrison. Consequence? Bail revoked. Both parents spent 72 hours in county jail for violation. When they got out, the contact stopped. Sienna took a different approach. Posted on social media. My sister destroyed our family over a misunderstanding. Money isn't worth losing family. Comments section exploded. Former coworkers, extended family, people who knew the truth. That's not a misunderstanding, that's fraud. She didn't destroy anything, they did. You're facing criminal charges too, Sienna. She deleted everything within hours. My therapist asked, how does it feel, maintaining these boundaries? I thought about it. Like breathing for the first time in 8 years. February, 8 weeks before trial. The DA's office called. We have a plea deal offer. I put them on speaker. Sharon listened in. Terms. Your parents plead guilty to reduced charges. 18 months prison instead of 3 to 5 years. Full restitution of $725,000 over 15 years. 10 years probation after release. And Sienna? 6 months jail. 5 years probation. Restitution of her $38,000. Sharon and I exchanged looks. It's a good deal, the DA said. Guarantees conviction and restitution. Trial is always a risk. What risk? Juries can be unpredictable with family cases. Sympathy factor. They must have been desperate. We've seen acquittals in situations like this. My jaw tightened. They weren't desperate. They were greedy. I know. But juries, family cases are complicated. This guarantees accountability. After he hung up, I stared at Sharon. 18 months is light. It is, but it guarantees conviction, guaranteed restitution, no risk of acquittal, and it's public record forever. Do they lose the pension? With guilty plea, yes. Automatic termination, fraud conviction. And their record? Felony convictions, permanent, employment, housing, credit, all affected forever. I sat with it, thought about trial, watching them squirm on the stand. Cathartic, but risky. The plea deal ensured consequences, certain, unavoidable. I want one condition. What? They have to allocute, public hearing. They state exactly what they did, on record, in court, in front of people. Sharon nodded. That's standard for plea deals. They have to admit guilt publicly. Then I'll accept. She called the DA back. My client accepts with standard allocution requirement. Done, hearings in 2 weeks. I wasn't getting revenge. I was getting justice. There's a difference. February 28th. The courtroom was packed. Public record hearings draw crowds. Local news, family members, people who'd heard the story. Judge Smith. We're here for plea allocution. Mrs. Parker, do you understand you're pleading guilty? Mom's voice, flat, defeated. Yes, Your Honor. State your crimes for the record. Long pause. Then, I opened 4 credit cards in my daughter Mila Parker's name without her knowledge or permission. I used those cards for personal purchases totaling $437,000. I accepted $288,000 in direct transfers from her under false pretenses. I knew what I was doing was illegal. The words hung in the air, undeniable, recorded, permanent. Mr. Parker? Dad's hands shook. I knew about the credit cards. I participated in the deception. I used the cards. I forged Mila's signature on applications. I lied about my employment status to get money from her. Miss Sienna Parker? My sister was crying. I used credit cards I knew weren't mine. I spent $38,000. I knew they were in my sister's name. I didn't stop it. Judge Smith turned to me. Miss Mila Parker, do you accept these allocutions as truthful? I stood. Yes, Your Honor. Do you wish to speak? I kept it brief. For 8 years, I believed I was helping family. I sacrificed my life, my savings, my future. They betrayed that trust systematically and without remorse. I'm grateful the legal system has provided accountability. Sentencing. Linda Parker, 18 months Oregon State Correctional Institution, 10 years probation, $687,000 restitution. Richard Parker, same. Sienna Parker, 6 months county jail, 5 years probation, $38,000 restitution. All 3, felony records. Permanent no-contact order with victim. Gavel. Officers approached. Handcuffs. Mom turned back. Mila. I didn't respond. Didn't turn. Didn't acknowledge. It was over. Outside, the February sun was bright, cold, sharp. Detective Morrison walked beside me. How do you feel? Like I can breathe again. March through June. Rebuilding phase. Credit repair. I worked with all 3 bureaus, removed the fraudulent accounts, disputed every unauthorized charge. My score climbed. 580 to 680 in 4 months. Housing. I moved. 1-bedroom apartment. Windows that actually opened. Natural light. A kitchen bigger than a closet. Rent was $1,200, $400 more than my studio, but I could afford it now. Furniture. I bought a real bed, actual frame, mattress that didn't fold in half. Kitchen table from a real store, not Craigslist. A couch. Small things, normal things, things I'd denied myself for 8 years. Financial. Restitution payments started arriving. 3,200 a month from their garnished pension and seized assets. Sienna's wages garnished too. It would take 15 years to recover everything. But it was happening. Therapy. Weekly sessions. Processing betrayal. Guilt. The complexity of loving people who hurt you. Learning that boundaries aren't cruel. They're necessary. Work. I accepted the promotion I'd turned down 3 years ago. Senior financial analyst, 95,000 a year. Office with a window. Social. I reconnected with friends I'd ghosted. I'm sorry I disappeared. I was dealing with a family situation. They understood. Or tried to. Dating. First date in 2 years. Coffee with someone from a different department. Nervous. Awkward. Good. Hobbies. I joined a book club. Started running. Rediscovered what I liked when I wasn't performing survival. Family. Aunt Carol. Uncle Mike. Cousin David. They stayed in contact. You're still family to us. They're not. Unexpected, Sienna sent a letter from jail, apologizing. I see now what we did to you. I read it. Didn't respond. Maybe someday. Not yet. Parents. No contact. No desire for contact. Maybe never. I packed all their letters, emails, voicemails into a box. Stored it in the closet. Not for them. For me. Reminder of what I survived. Life wasn't perfect. But it was mine. Finally, completely, mine. 6 months post-sentencing. I want to answer the questions people keep asking. Do you miss your parents? I miss who I thought they were. I don't miss who they actually are. There's a difference. Do you feel guilty? Sometimes. That's what they conditioned me to feel. Guilt was their most effective tool. But guilt is manipulation. I didn't commit crimes. They did. Would you do anything differently? I wish I'd seen the signs sooner. The emergencies that never ended. The numbers that didn't add up. The defensiveness when I asked questions. Red flags were there. I ignored them. Chose to believe. That's on me. Advice for others in similar situations? Monitor your credit obsessively. Check every 3 months. If family asks for money repeatedly, ask for documentation. Real crises have paper trails. If they're defensive when you ask questions, that's a red flag. And remember, saying no to family doesn't make you a bad person. Protecting yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. What I learned, family is behavior, not biology. DNA doesn't obligate you to accept abuse. Boundaries aren't cruel, they're necessary. People who love you respect them. People who exploit you call them hurtful. Financial abuse is abuse. Full stop. The legal system exists for a reason. Using it doesn't make you vindictive. Shame belongs to the perpetrator, not the victim. Final thought. I'm 32 years old. I have $42,000 in savings now. A 1-bedroom apartment I love. A job I'm good at. Friends who actually care about me. Most importantly, I have myself back. They took 8 years and $725,000. But they can't take any more. I won't let them. People ask if I forgive them. I don't. Forgiving them would mean accepting what they did was okay. It wasn't, and I'm okay with that. Thank you for staying until the end. If this story resonated with you, please share it. Someone else might need to hear they're not alone. Drop a comment. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family? How did it turn out? And if you haven't subscribed, hit that button now for more stories like this. Check the description for resources on financial abuse and identity theft protection. You're stronger than you know. Take care of yourself. That's not selfish, that's survival. Looking back with clarity now, I can see what drove my parents and sister, not to excuse it, just to understand it. My mother Linda grew up poor. Really poor. Her relatives had money, and they made sure she knew she didn't. That childhood shame transformed into adult image obsession. She equated appearance with worth, success with respect. When Dad's income couldn't sustain the lifestyle she craved, instead of adjusting expectations or living within means, she rationalized fraud. In her mind, she wasn't stealing, she was collecting what was owed. She'd convinced herself that raising me meant I owed her, that my success was partly hers, that using my credit wasn't theft, it was redistribution of family resources. Classic narcissistic entitlement combined with victim mentality. She genuinely believed she was the wronged party, that I was being unreasonable by objecting to identity theft. My father Richard was the enabler. Textbook. He knew it was wrong. Deep down, he knew. But he feared confronting Linda more than he feared legal consequences. Conflict avoidance became complicity. He told himself he was keeping the peace. Really, he was choosing comfort over integrity, over his own daughter. Every time he didn't stop her, he chose her delusion over my well-being. Sienna operated from learned entitlement. She'd never been held accountable for anything growing up. Mom and Dad praised her for existing. They praised me for achieving. Different standards, different rules. In her worldview, my success was a family resource to be shared, not my personal achievement. She genuinely didn't understand why I was upset. You make good money, what else would you spend it on? Empathy requires development. Our parents never required it of her, so she never learned it. Together they created a sophisticated emotional manipulation system. They never demanded money outright, too obvious. Instead, they painted crises, created urgency, triggered my guilt. Then, allowed me to offer the solution. This made me feel responsible, feel like I was choosing to help. That was intentional. That was the brilliance of their manipulation. They exploited my sense of filial duty, the very value they'd instilled in me as a child, used my strength against me, weaponized my love, now my vulnerabilities, because I had them. My weakness wasn't kindness. Kindness is a strength. My weakness was guilt conditioning and people-pleasing. From childhood, I learned my worth came from being the helpful daughter. Sienna got attention for being charming. I got attention for being responsible. That became my identity, my currency. I thought love was transactional. I provide, therefore I matter. Therefore I'm loved. I also suffered from what therapists call fixer mentality, common in eldest daughters. If there's a problem, I solve it. The problem being real wasn't a question I thought to ask. Questioning felt like abandoning family. Additionally, and this is ironic, my professional skills created a blind spot. I was an expert at analyzing other people's finances. I could spot fraud patterns in client portfolios instantly. But I couldn't see I was victim of fraud in my own life. Too close to it, too emotionally invested, too conditioned to trust them. Here's what I wish someone had told me at 24. Red flags I missed. The emergency never ends. Real financial crises have resolution timelines. Perpetual crisis is a control tactic. Vagueness about details. Legitimate needs come with paperwork. If they can't or won't show documentation, be suspicious. Defensiveness when questioned. Honest people welcome questions. Manipulators attack your character for asking. Your sacrifice benefits only them. Real family support is reciprocal. If you're always giving and never receiving, that's exploitation. Practical protections. Check your credit report every 3 months. Annualcreditreport.com. Free. Do it. Freeze your credit if family has your social security number. They can't open accounts without unfreezing it. Never give anyone, even parents, access to your bank accounts, ever. If helping family financially, pay directly to the creditor. Rent to landlord, not cash to them. Document everything. Keep records of transfers, save text messages, record calls if legal in your state. Boundary wisdom. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe justification. You don't owe explanation. People who truly love you will respect boundaries. People who exploit you will call boundaries hurtful or selfish. Setting limits doesn't make you selfish, it makes you self-preserving. Real love doesn't manipulate. Real love doesn't demand sacrifice of your well-being. Final truth. I spent 8 years being a good daughter, by their definition. It nearly destroyed me. Now I'm being a good daughter by my definition. Honest, boundaried, self-respecting. And that's the only version that matters. If you're watching this and something resonates, if you're sending money to family out of guilt rather than genuine desire, please examine why. You deserve a life that's yours, not one funded by your sacrifice for people who view you as an ATM. Take care of yourself. That's not selfish, that's survival.